are a lot of girls out here for sure. For sure.
So this is a real common question that we get all the time, which is like, aren't you going to be worried about what's going to happen with your kids? I'll throw my 2 cents once again, because I don't think enough people really realize this, is that what you're just talking about, right? I'm going to channel my inner Mike Sartain right now, because I know what he would say about this. It's like I just saw this. I think it was at some political, like a conservative political action thing, where like now there's porn stars that are basically going, and they're influencers for like Republican interests, and saying, conservative Republican interests, and nobody cares. That's just how it is right now. There's OnlyFans, the women who are on OnlyFans who are like using that money to go and make political donations right now. And Mike would forgive me, Mike. Hopefully I'm doing you justice, but Mike would have said something in the fact that we've crossed the Overton window here with respect to OnlyFans. And he and I both have like a bet as to like when the first OnlyFans politician will go. She'll be on OnlyFans. She'll take the money that she, like the raging amount of money that she has on OnlyFans, and she'll be elected to political office on the back of the money that she made on OnlyFans.
In the next 5 years.
And I use the word back on purpose. So, but the long and the short of it is, I don't think we're going to get to a point where no one's going to care, because the people who would be making, like the kids who would be making fun of your kids, their moms are on OnlyFans too.
Yes,
everybody.
Because there's so many, because it will be so common right now, because I remember during COVID, it was there were college counselors who had girls who would come in and say, how do I be a star on OnlyFans? What's the classes I need to take so I can learn how to marketing? Maybe
that's part of the problem too, though, is because with OnlyFans getting bigger, well, only a certain amount of women do well on OnlyFans.
Yes.
So for a lot of women, it's actually not worth it for them to actually do it, because it can actually ruin their reputation, and they're not going to make any money.
Yep.
And that's what happens.
Well, I know. See that gets thrown around a lot too, because the average income for women who are on OnlyFans is something like $120 a month or something, $150, about $150 per month right now. And so people like to fall back on that. Yeah, but the women who are at the top end of that also throw that average off a lot. So if you're in the top 0.2%, and you're turning it. I mean, was it Bad Bobby or Barbie or whatever her name is? Who's something red?
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Bad Bunny. And then there's another one. The red, something red. I can't remember her name. Damn it, Myron, where are you when I need you?
Who make $100,000 a month.
I was looking at the OnlyFans stats. I was looking at the OnlyFans stats in the top 5 creators. I mean, everybody has porn, right? But I mean, they're making money like millions per month, if not week, right? And now, granted, they probably had some sort of like celebrity status to begin with, but that throws off the average. So if you got a woman who's making 100 some odd dollars, per, and then you got another one at the top end, well, what's the average between those two, considering how many people that are on OnlyFans? So the long and the short of it is you can actually make a good chunk of change, or it seems. The perception is what throws women off, I think, the most. Is, this bitch can make $150,000 a month on OnlyFans.
I'm going to try and do it.
I'm at least as hot as she is, and I could do that too, right? And that's so therefore
but they don't understand. You have to have a brand. You have to have an edge. There's a bunch of girls that have pay to see, and a guy is just bouncing from one to the other, and then you're not building a career. You're not building longevity. You get $10 from them, and that's it. But then there are women who are actually doing this platform the correct way. And they're rolling in the dough. I've done it for 4 years. I support a family of like my whole entire family. I've just bought $1 million home. Like this, I've been able to invest in other businesses, but it's because I've kept the same amount of people, and they're there because they love my brand. They love who I am. And I found out who they are. It's a relationship. You know what I mean? So a lot of these girls are like, oh, I can post tit pictures and make $10 and maybe make as much as this girl. Well, that's not what the high earners are doing.
The girls who make, like, I'm talking 0.1% who make the most OnlyFans. They're not always the most attractive women.
No.
They're usually the ones that are like the 7s, not the 10s. They're the ones that seem attainable. They're the ones that seem like, I could probably get with that girl. If I saw her like walking down the street with her dog, I could probably get with that.
I'd have to argue that.
Why would do you think it's more like centerfold looking?
No, it's not centerfold women. It's people that are obtainable that guys can have relationships with.
So the girlfriend experience.
Yes, the girlfriend experience. It's not that's what I'm saying. Like you see all these like 3 million followers and she must be making a killing. That girl ain't making shit on fucking OnlyFans because she is just like the rest of the girls that are trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And a guy doesn't have interest in that. They want to have interest in who the person is because they're living vicariously through people.
Right.
That's all. That's all social media is. So that's my opinion.
But also you need to have so much discipline. So I'm not
Yes.
doing OnlyFans, but I have a really good friend that she does OnlyFans. And it's ridiculous how
Yes.
much effort and time this girl is putting into this.
Yeah.
Do like collaboration with other people, other girls, photo shoots. She's like texting with those guys all the fucking time. Like it's crazy. It's an actual job. And I think some girls are thinking, no, I'm just gonna post 2 pictures and that's it.
And that's
I'm gonna
not
be
what it is.
famous now. And it is not like that,
No.
right? No.
It's
a job.
It's 7 days a week, like multiple times
You're
a day.
all day. You don't have a day.
So
off.
I had a friend that was doing it, and they were like, they ran an OnlyFans house with him and his wife. They were making content like they had like porn stars in their house, like 7 days doing like 3 videos a day and posting that, and they were making tons of money. But
I
that's
think what's throwing a lot of people out, like a lot of people want to like sort of, I think they still have this old order way of thinking about like sexuality and everything because we're in the 21st century right now, and I really like people still. I think we're in this unique period in time right now where we understood what the 20th century was, and now we're in the 21st century. And I always bring this up when it's like there's an election cycle because all of our politicians are 20th century politicians
Old as
trying to run
fuck.
20th century election campaigns in the 21st century. But that's one thing. But then you go and you say, okay, well, how has the sexual marketplace changed from the 20th century to the 21st century? And everyone here at the table is an example of that. I grew up in an era where there was no internet, there was no laptops, there was no cell phone. But then we crossed the Rubicon right around 2000 or into the early 2000s, and now suddenly we have social media. Suddenly I went through the forum era, the blog era, the YouTube era, the social media, MySpace, yeah, exactly. And so I watched all this happen, but like I'm the last of my kind. There's everybody else will take all of this shit for granted into the 21st century, but we're still we still can't get out of this old order, old mode of thinking right now. And I think that's causing a lot of frustration for people such as yourself who are a mother of a lot of kids. I don't want to say
Fuck ton of kids.
Yeah, fuck ton of kids. yeah. So whoever was saying in the chat, she's gonna be lonely at 55. Dude, she's married. She got God knows
That's
how
what
many
people
kids.
think, though. It's
Yeah.
so crazy.
Do you know how much it
You're gonna die
pisses people
alone.
off who are watching this show right now? The fact that like not only because they're always thinking, hey, like she's gonna do OnlyFans, she's gonna make this money now, but
Nobody loves her.
nobody loves her, and it's gonna run out. But it pisses a lot of people off the fact that you have an OnlyFans, you make a lot of money,
I know.
you have family, you are married,
I have
and you live in Las
kids.
Vegas.
Yep.
Yes.
And I assume
She
you
has
do other
this,
things outside of
this,
this, right?
She
It's
has
like,
this.
it
And
takes
this woman over
people-
here married her husband on a first night leg.
Exactly. It makes
Not
people
letting that go the
mad.
whole time we're on here. Yes. So, but I was going to say is I think that a lot of the frustration people have right now is they're still thinking with old order thinking as
Yes.
opposed to like trying to say, you know what, maybe we ought to start rethinking these things. And again, as a result of having this mass and globalized communication, I'll bring up Zuby one more time. I was on a podcast with him about 2 weeks ago, and he came through Vegas and I did it, and he's a very good friend of mine. And he asked me that. It was a reheat of an old question that we'd gone over, but he just simply didn't understand what the appeal of OnlyFans was if you have Pornhub, right? And you can just go rub one out anytime for
I've
free, and
always thought
it's
that.
4K streaming and everything. So I told him, I said, the reason is because the guys need more than just rubbing one out.
Mm-hmm.
They need connection. And I said, and if you think about it in these terms, it's almost healthier for that to happen than these guys who are going to pay small fortunes to believe that the other person on the other side of that screen actually gives two shits about them at the end of his day. Like, oh, you have a hard day, honey? Oh, I'm here for you. I don't know what the max tip is. What, $4,000? Here you go. To pretend to care about that person. And if I've got to pay for human compassion and human kindness and just basic, peripheral concern, that to me seems more sick than rubbing one out on Pornhub.
But okay, so Robert Kiyosaki, he's very strong.
Would you like to meet him tomorrow?
Yeah, he's very
He's supposed to come
strong
to this
in,
one.
people go to school and they think the things they do because that's what they're told to think, right?
Conditioned.
So that is the same thing that's going on right now. You have all these people on OnlyFans that need the connection and they don't need to just rub one out because they married the person that they were told to marry, and it's a business decision. They didn't marry the person they love
And
or
they're
they
the
want to be with.
lifestyle.
Yes. So these guys fucking hate their wives. They're like, that bitch is, she's holding out and she's toxic and she don't want to have sex with him because she wants only to have sex with him when she wants a Louis Vuitton purse. Like, then that guy's like, fuck you, bitch. And so he's getting on there and he's getting what he needs from somebody who is like being nice to him because his wife ain't nice. You know what I mean?
I have a question for you. Have you ever had a subscriber who like you knew was married, like someone in your community subscribe to your OnlyFans?
A ton. Yes. Yeah. And they're bold. They're like, hey,
They
my
have their
wife
name and
hates
their profile
you.
picture,
They're
yeah.
Like, I live right down the street from you. I'm so-and-so. Or people from high school. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
They're your
keep
top
seeing these
spenders.
Yeah.
I keep
Can I buy your
seeing these
panties?
memes of like these kids are like riding around on their bicycles on the street. It's like, I saw your mom on OnlyFans. Oh yeah, I saw your mom too. Your dad subscribes to me.
That's, and then moving to Vegas.
Yes, exactly.
That was one of the things I was like, oh, I'm PG out here. This is
Yeah.
great. My kids are going to go to school with strippers. That's their mom. And we're going to high five and they're going to be like, oh yeah, my mom does this. But it's not a big deal. Who cares?
Well, I think it also. I think that a lot of it's like
Fireworks.
gunfire. Oh, it's fireworks! I got fireworks out here right now. Hey, it's a good celebration. God, 4th of July in Las Vegas is like freaking downtown Beirut in the middle of
It was
mid
scary.
'70s. Oh my
You couldn't even drive down
God!
the streets. People doing
And-
fireworks in the middle of the street while you're trying to drive to the store.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
My poor greyhounds. Oh my God! There's
Oh,
so
dude,
many. It was
I can't
so
imagine.
bad. It was just like. It was like gunfire out there, and then it doesn't stop on the 4th. By the way, they shoot off everything else that they had left over on the days afterwards. But, okay, I got one more for you.
Hey, so you stayed to the end. If you're still watching this, I have a gift for you. Click the link below and I will teach you how to position yourself as a high status man. And yes, it's absolutely free.